Hello students, today we are going to study pharmacology of theophylline. It is an anti-asthmatic medication and this is covered in the video on anti-asthmatic drugs part 4. Now theophylline belongs to the class of methylxanthines. These are naturally occurring methylated xanthine alkaloids found in coca beans. It's primarily a bronchodilator. It's a poor bronchodilator and it provides symptomatic relief in asthma. Now, more recently, research has shown that it also exhibits anti-inflammatory effect. Now, as we all know, asthma is a chronic inflammatory disease of respiratory tubes to the lungs, characterized by narrowing of the respiratory passages, which results difficulty in breathing. Now, let's recapitulate pathophysiology of asthma. Now, in asthma, there is hypersensitivity of bronchial tract, that is hypersensitivity of respiratory air passages. Now, triggering factors like inhaled air pollutants, dust particles, smoke, fumes, stress cause inflammation of airway mucosa. Now, mucosa is the innermost lining of respiratory tubes that is made up of ciliated columnar epithelial cells. And there is release of inflammatory mediators like histamine and leukotrienes. Now, these inflammatory mediators, they cause hypersecretion of mucus. Then they cause the classical symptom of asthma, that is the bronchoconstriction, narrowing of air passages, increase in vascular permeability. Now, theophylline is a bronchodilator and it provides symptomatic relief in asthma. Now, main symptoms of asthma are dyspnea, that is difficulty in breathing, tightness of chest, cough and wheezing. Wheezing is a whistling sound which is heard while exhaling due to bronchoconstriction. Now let's discuss mechanism of action of theophylline. Now, very important to understand that theophylline is primarily a bronchodilator. It is a poor bronchodilator that relaxes large as well as the small human airways. That means it dilates trachea, bronchi as well as the bronchioles. Now, primarily theophylline is a non-selective inhibitor of phosphodiesterase isoenzymes. Now, look at this diagram. Theophylline inhibits the enzyme phosphodiesterase, thereby it inhibits the breakdown of cyclic AMP to 5-AMP. Now, because of the inhibition of breakdown of cyclic AMP, there is increase in the intracellular concentration of cyclic AMP. Now, this increased cyclic AMP then activates the enzyme phosphokinase A. Phosphokinase A phosphorylates myosin light chain kinase, and this phosphorylation of myosin light chain kinase reduces its affinity for calcium calmodulin, and this results in depolarization of smooth muscles and bronchodilation. Now, apart from this, phosphokinase A also phosphorylates inositol triphosphate receptors located on the endoplasmic reticulum, and this reduces release of calcium from endoplasmic reticulum in the cytoplasm. And as we all know, calcium is required for the contraction of smooth muscles, and reduced calcium availability causes bronchorelaxation. Now, apart from this, based upon the recent research, increase in the intracellular concentration of cyclic AMP in the inflammatory cells, like for example mast cells, neutrophils, reduces the release of inflammatory mediators. Thus, theophylline also exhibits anti-inflammatory effect. So, as per the literature survey, phosphodiesterase 4 inhibition is mainly responsible for the bronchodilatory effect of theophylline. Now, as discussed with the help of diagram, increased cyclic AMP in the inflammatory cells reduce the release of inflammatory mediators, and increase in intracellular cyclic AMP also induces the apoptosis of eosinophils. Now, that is the programmed cell death of eosinophils. Now, important to note that eosinophils are the major cells responsible for inducing inflammation in the asthma. So, this is the primary mechanism by which theophylline induces bronchodilation. Now, apart from this, as we all know, adenosine contracts smooth muscles, and contraction of smooth muscles induces bronchoconstriction. Now, theophylline blocks adenosine receptors, which also induces bronchodilation. Now, as per the latest research, theophylline exhibits anti-inflammatory effect by increasing the levels of histone deacetylase 2 in the cells. Now, look at the following diagram. Now, phosphoinositide 3 kinase delta is activated by oxidative stress, and this phosphoinositide 3 kinase phosphorylates, inactivates and reduces the levels of histone deacetylase 2 in the cells. Now, theophylline inhibits phosphoinositide 3 kinase delta and therefore it prevents the inactivation of histone deacetylase 2, and therefore theophylline increases the levels of histone deacetylase 2 in the cell. Now, let us see why this histone deacetylase 2 is important. Now, this is the diagram that shows histones. Histones are present in the DNA. Now, histones are the proteins. Now, histones are either acetylated or deacetylated. Now, acetylation, that is addition of acetyl group to these histones, causes activation of inflammatory genes, causes increased synthesis of inflammatory mediators. Whereas deacetylation, that is removal of histones, removal of acetyl group from the histones, that is deacetylation, causes suppression of inflammatory genes, causes a reduction in the inflammatory gene transcription, and therefore there is reduced synthesis of inflammatory mediators. Now, this histone deacetylase 2 is increased by theophylline, and this histone deacetylase 2, it causes deacetylation. It removes the acetyl group from the histones, and this deacetylation causes suppression of inflammatory genes. It causes reduction in the inflammatory gene transcription, and therefore there is reduced synthesis of inflammatory mediators, and this is how theophylline exhibits the anti-inflammatory effect. So, theophylline increases the levels of histone deacetylase 2, and histone deacetylase 2 deacetylates, that is removes the acetyl group from the histones, and that suppresses the inflammatory genes, and that causes reduced synthesis of inflammatory mediators. So, this is how theophylline exhibits anti-inflammatory effect. Now, thus apart from being a bronchodilator, even though theophylline is a poor bronchodilator, so apart from being a bronchodilator, theophylline also exhibits anti-inflammatory effect. And theophylline is a poor bronchodilator, and therefore inhaled beta 2 agonist and antimuscarinics are preferred over the theophylline. Its anti-inflammatory effects are also not completely explored and documented. Now, very important is the pharmacokinetics of theophylline. Theophylline is administered orally as slow release preparations for chronic treatment of asthma. Theophylline is a bronchodilator. It's a poor bronchodilator, and it is not preferred over beta 2 agonist and antimuscarinics, which are inhaled. Theophylline is not inhaled, and inhalation of theophylline is ineffective and irritating. Now, recommended dose for bronchodilation of theophylline is 200 to 400 milligram twice daily. Now, talking about the elimination half-life of theophylline. Theophylline is metabolized extensively in the liver. It's metabolized at different rates in different individuals, and thus the elimination half-life in premature neonates is about 30 hours. In neonates, it's 24 hours. In children in the age group of 1 to 9 years, its elimination half-life is from 3 to 5 hours. In non-smoking adults, its elimination half-life is 8 hours, while in smoking adults, its elimination half-life is 5 hours. Now, in elderly, it's metabolized slowly, and its elimination half-life is 12 hours. Now, theophylline also exhibits a large number of drug interactions, and so it should be administered carefully. And however, drug interactions are not covered in this video. Now, very important are the uses of theophylline. Theophylline is a poor bronchodilator in comparison to inhaled beta 2 agonist and anticholinergics. Now, unlike these bronchodilators, it's administered orally, and it's ineffective as an inhalation. And apart from this, theophylline has a narrow margin of safety and exhibits a number of drug interactions. And therefore, theophylline is not the main anti-asthmatic drug. It is not the main bronchodilator. It is not the bronchodilator of choice. It is used as a third-line treatment, as an add-on therapy in mild to moderately severe asthma, especially in the nocturnal asthma. Now, theophylline reduces frequency and duration of apnea, that is cessation of temporary cessation of breathing in premature infants, and that is theophylline prevents intermittent cessation of breathing in the premature infants, and theophylline is effective in reducing the requirement of mechanical ventilators. Now, here oral or intravenous treatment of theophylline is required. Now, talking about the adverse effects of theophylline, the main limitation of theophylline is its narrow margin of safety and large number of drug interactions. Now, early symptoms include nausea, vomiting and headache due to phosphodiesterase inhibition, while at higher concentration it can produce cardiac arrhythmias, it can produce seizures due to adenosine A1 receptor blockage. So this is in brief about the use of theophylline as an add-on therapy in the management of asthma. Now, if you find the video useful, kindly like, subscribe and share this video. You can ask your questions by writing in the comment section. But very important to note that this video is meant only for the educational purpose. Thanks for watching the video.